Hello, my name is Gabriel Pena, and I did my paper on military pay and the perspective that society has on it. Pretty much, people have a misconception about military pay, and they don't understand the circumstances when people go through to make those wages. And even though it might seem like a good amount of money that they make, because you hear about college benefits and like it's like healthcare, all around, it's pretty meager pay. But during my research, I found out some pretty weird situations, and like people, they don't share my opinion, and it's kind of awkward because from personal experience, I can see how you can have one person, who works at some low demand job, low skill, but in the long run, he'll make more than some person in the military, and even though it's kind of like a matter of opinion perspective, it's still kind of a real issue because I have friends and like they put their lives on the line, but overall they get the pay of their pay is equal to being low income to most people, which is kind of weird and kind of dumb to me, but it's just a situation happens. And studies have shown that although the military pay has seemed substantial, the military pay is often stagnant when held to the rate of inflation, which means what might have been a lot of money back then, 30 years ago, they kept it like that, and it hasn't kept up with the economy, which means people are suffering. They're not really making enough money. They're taken care of, by food and all that, but it's just it's kind of a dumb situation. And currently, the dominant view is that what the military gets paid is sufficient for what they do, which it comes into the idea of duty, like you volunteer to serve your country, no matter the pay or the threat that comes with it. But you would expect, the federal government to be like, okay, I see what you do, I see how much it requires of you, and they should get more back, but they don't. For my research, I explored two questions. Is the military pay comparable to that of the civilian sector? And how do people feel about the pay and benefits that the armed forces receive? Surprisingly, I found that 60% of survey participants believe that servicemen and women are in fact very well paid for the duties. To say again, 60% of participants in the survey believe that military members are paid well for their work, which doesn't make sense to me, but it's honest opinion from people. From the people that I've met, though, like I've encountered in my work, I think they deserve way more. Like I have a buddy of mine, he joined the military at the same time as me. He was a sergeant now, and he's been on 2 tours of duty with the Ranger Regiment. He's done great things, but because of the situation and the work that he does, he gets, some kind of, put it like this, I can make more as a cashier at HEB than he does as a U.S. Army Ranger, which isn't fair, well, not to me. It's kind of a crappy situation, to be honest. And now, before I go too deep into this, I want to give you a better idea of how the military pay works. We'll explore that later, though. Here's an overview of my research. I hypothesize that most people would in fact be content with the military pay system. My research method was based on a statistical analysis. Research design and methods. To gather the necessary information, I utilized the General Social Survey and the official U.S. military pay scale from the Department of Defense. I also utilized my personal experience from my military service and compared to my current civilian job. Results? My results indicated that the most respondents believe that the military servicemen and women are paid enough for what they do. On the other hand, a large minority of respondents believe that our military members should be paid more. Despite this, though, an even smaller minority believe that the military should be paid less, which is kind of strange to me. Here's my graph. Right here, this little tiny yellow section, well, probably can't see it, but right there you see 1.9% of the people surveyed believe that the military should be paid less for what they do, which I disagree with. This big orange block here, 60% believe that they get paid about right, which is it's a real big matter of opinion. But right here, this little red section, 38% believe that military members should be paid larger amounts, which is a little bit more to my point of view. And I'm sure, if you were to talk to these participants and just have a conversation with them, they could all make valid points, like say education benefits cover up for the pay and all that, or healthcare wise, but I have my own view, and I can agree to disagree with theirs. To get you a better idea of what the pay is, I have the military pay chart right here. You can't see it too well, but put it like this. You have a private, an E1, bottom of the totem pole, but a serviceman nonetheless. He makes about $1,546.80 per month, which isn't including taxes. At the end of the year, though, he makes about $18,000, which is pretty decent. But to consider the federal government, they view that as low income. It kind of says a lot, like it says, despite what you do for us, the big government and all that, you're worth $18,000 a year, which to me is kind of, a kick in the teeth a little bit. But of course, the military pay is divided into 3 sections. You have officers, warrant officers, and the enlistment. What people think is they see an officer, like a general, he'll make about, $10,000 a year, more or less. It's a good amount of money, but as a general, you're in charge, thousands upon thousands of people, not including the equipment that you're in charge of. But they say, despite what you do in your service, you're worth $10,000 a month. And it comes out to about, $120,000 a year. But considering what they do, and like I said, and the amount of work they put in, it's kind of a low pay. And of course, enlisted will never make as much as an officer. Or this is where the pay works. Overall, though, my research did show that, people do think that the military, they get paid well for what they do, which is kind of a disagreement with me, but it's what I found from my survey. And here's my conclusion. The overall result is that the average enlisted man or woman in the U.S. military does make substantially less than their civilian counterpart. Number 2, along with that, many people believe that the military are well compensated for their efforts, but there are many who believe that they do in fact deserve a better grade of compensation. It is significant because there are men and women outside there who are risking their lives on the line for the needs of the body, but they are designated as deserving of a low-income salary. And that's my presentation on my research. Thank you.